Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. I am on my dad's porch right now. I'm staying over at his house for Thanksgiving. I'll be back home whenever I can. I'll be back home. What was that noise? Oh, it's just Rambo. Hey Rambo, what's going on? Rambo? Yeah, there he is. Hi Rambo. And there's all these blow-up decorations in the background. You can see over there. Yeah, there's a snowman that's shaking. He has a brain freeze because he just ate an ice cream cone. There's a snowman family, a tree, Santa Claus. Yeah, I just felt like I should show that for the hell of it. Anyways, on to the movie review, aka After I Saw, which is going to be on Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. I am a massive fan of the Resident Evil games, so despite it probably not being very good, I was still going to see it nonetheless. Alright, so this movie is not directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Yeah, I know my beard is shaved off a little, but it's a long story, but it'll look better in the next video. We follow the characters from Resident Evil 1 and 2, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, yes, Leon Kennedy. All of these characters are in this movie, and it takes place during the same time as the first two Resident Evil games, the first two original Resident Evil games in 1998, where Chris Redfield and Claire Redfield both get separated. When they get separated, Chris is on the same level as Resident Evil 1, and Claire with Resident Evil 2, where she meets Leon Kennedy, and of course they have to stop a zombie outbreak. Now, okay, obviously, like I mentioned, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I've been really enjoying the new modern games, most of the new modern games anyway. I really enjoyed Resident Evil 8. So yeah, whether or not this movie was going to be good or not, which unfortunately it wasn't, I was still looking forward to it either way, or was still going to see it either way. And I can say, while this movie certainly wasn't good, it's not anywhere near as bad as most of the Paul W.S. Anderson movies. It's just, they could have done a lot more justice to the source material. I mean, it's great that they actually put the characters, or were trying to put the characters in this movie, except the casting choices. Yeah, the casting was a bit rushed. And that's exactly the biggest problem, is that this movie felt rushed. Now, I didn't hate everything about this movie. I feel like this is the closest it's gotten to the games, unlike the Paul W.S. Anderson films. While he's not directing this, he's like producing it, I'm not sure. But he has no control over this movie, okay? It's not as over the top in terms of slow motion Michael Bay style action. No, it does try focusing on horror, although there's a lot of guns in it, so it sort of, but it's trying to play out like a zombie film. And the backgrounds and the way it's trying to look like the original Resident Evil games, it's fair enough, and the creature designs too are close resemblance to the original creatures. Some of them, not all of them, but it kind of does, it's kind of trying to do shot for shot with the two Resident Evil games. There was even a puzzle in the movie that they solved. So it does have some callbacks to the original games. And they even make fun of the Jill sandwich joke. And some of the dialogue, like Master of Unlocking, they don't say that in the movie, but yeah, however, the biggest thing that takes away from this movie is the acting and the story, okay? Now, a lot of the characters and the cast are completely miscast in here. Like, they were on the right track with the characters, but their performances were very weak. And some of them actually have humor, but the humor just felt super flat. And the movie wasn't scary either. I mean, the games were far more scarier than this. Even some of the modern ones, like Resident Evil 6. Okay, well, you know what? It is definitely scarier than Resident Evil 6. But there are just times in the movie where it just felt dull. Like, the first 30 minutes, the movie doesn't really do much. Like, the characters don't really do much. Like, when they were introduced in the movie, I was all like, no way is that Albert Wesker. No way that's Jill Valentine. So, I like how they were going with the characters, but there are just so many major problems to this whole thing that, like, the fact that it's trying to go for more into the same direction as the original games, it just doesn't work. Like, there are just times where I was just completely drawn out. Like, there's one humorous part where a zombie catches on fire, but Leon isn't paying attention, and he almost gets killed, but someone saves him. That's another major problem, is Leon. He looks nothing like, the actor looks nothing like Leon, and Leon just, this is just not Leon. Like, this is not the Leon I know. And the other characters, they just did not feel like the characters we knew and loved. Not even Albert Wesker. The way they make him out to be a twist villain, just like in the original game, it went for a completely different route, which I just didn't really buy into it. And sure, it does pay a bit more homage, but unlike the games, they actually did feel a lot more cinematic. In fact, I feel like Resident Evil only works as a game and not as a movie, which is a real shame. There were some CGI movies, which I'm not sure if they were supposed to be good, probably not, but I'm interested in watching those because, hey, and there's a TV series that's getting mixed reactions, but hey, not as bad as the reactions towards this. In the end, guys, I really wanted Resident Evil Raccoon City to really surprise me, but in the end, it just felt too rushed. The acting wasn't very good, the story was dull, and while it does pay a bit more homage and does do more of a faithful job to capturing what the original Resident Evil games did, it's just the source material just works better as a game and not a full-length feature film. Like, the characters, they didn't really feel like the Resident Evil characters we knew and loved. They were just very underdeveloped, and when they're on screen, they just have some one-liners to bring out. And the writing, too, while I will say that the acting is definitely more Oscar-worthy than any of the voice lines that were in the original Resident Evil game for PS1, but the movie just wasn't well written either. It was just came off as cheesy, and I don't really like cheese in Resident Evil games unless like from way back then, but modern times now I really want to go for a more serious and darker route for the games. But for the movies, it was a nice try, but I just couldn't see myself really enjoying much about this movie. I'm going to be completely honest, I thought the first Resident Evil movie was better, but I can say this is better than all the sequels to that movie. So I respect it for trying to capture the same stuff that the games had, but it just didn't fully work here, and that's a shame because I really wanted to be surprised by this movie, but it just, I should have known better. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm not sure if you can see my breath, but yeah, it's pretty weird. But I am going to be reviewing House of Gucci. Stay tuned for that. It'll probably be out the next day as this review, but I've been going on for too long. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.